Hey guys, it's Chala from Crafting Through the Chaos of Life. Thanks so much for joining me for another video. I am back. I am not gonna lie, I still have a little bit of a cough going on. This is literally the cold that will not end, you guys. Ugh, it's just been brutal. But I really want to get to this tutorial of how I made that one little ephemera piece that was kind of like a little booklet. This part was laminated and it flipped open and you could write, and then it ended up being a pocket. That was in my vintage poppy journal. So I did that flip through. It was a while ago, but I'm just getting to it now, so I apologize. I also do want to quickly stop and say a great big thank you to all my new subscribers, my existing subscribers. I appreciate you all so very much. And go ahead and make sure that you're giving a thumbs up if you like the video. Comment if you want to see something specific, let me know. But let's get into this tutorial today. So the book that I'm using is this gorgeous Wildflowers of Britain, Month by Month by Margaret Erskine Wilson. This book is absolutely gorgeous. It's a really cute small size. I'm just going to grab my, excuse me, my ruler here. So it is not quite 7 inches by 6 inches, and inside there are just gorgeous images. So what she's done is she's kind of done almost like the Edith Holden, sorry, I had a brain fart there. Almost like a Edith Holden type thing where she's documenting the flowers and plants and what have you, and this is just like gorgeousness. Look at this. And it's so hard just to pick one image. So that little kind of flip thing that I made really makes use of both sides, so I don't have to choose. And yeah, it's just a great way to be able to use these images in your journals. So I had pulled out a few purple pieces here because I am working on this purple journal. I showed you kind of like a really quick sneak peek of that on one of my shorts that I did. And I don't really want to show you the entire thing because I believe the person who this is for, it's a Christmas gift for them, and I think this person actually subscribes to my channel. So I really don't want to give too much away. I'll do a quick little peeky sneaky here. So this is the journal. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, can't wait for the person to have it. Anyways, so I picked out a few images, and I'm looking at these images, and right away, this one here, you can see it's kind of got like a coffee dyed or a yellowish kind of tone to the background. That really doesn't fit with the theme of this journal because this journal isn't truly vintage in style. Like a lot of the pages are more white based. So I'm not going to use this one, even though it's got some gorgeous purple images. I want to stick with an image like these ones that have more of a lighter or whiter background to them. And I think this is the one I want to use. So I apologize again, I still have this cold. It's brutal, never ending. So this is the image that I want to use, and on the back has still got some purple on it, which I think is really pretty. So let's go ahead. Oh, I also wanted to show you what I love about this book is these pages are actually bound in with string. Can you see that? So it's really quite easy to find, you know, the center of a particular signature, and then you can just trim those little strings, and then it helps you get the pages out so you actually don't have to rip or tear them out, which I really appreciate because it makes things so much nicer, especially if you're going to bind in these two joined pages right into a journal. It's really great because it doesn't you know, kind of tear apart your fold here. It doesn't ruin the integrity of that fold. So let's go ahead and move these to the side. Move this. I got this book off of Amazon, so if you're looking to purchase that, that's where I got it. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is cut out this little image. If you want, you can keep this portion here. I'm not going to for mine. I'm going to just trim it all up. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to use my Fiskars trimmer. I really love this trimmer in particular because it has that wire guide. So I like this locking feature as well, so this doesn't flip up. But I just unlock that. It has a wire guide that's going to show you exactly where you're cutting on your paper, which is super helpful. I have another trimmer, it doesn't have this guide, and I often am miscutting or I'm off just a little bit, and I find that really frustrating because when I go back I can't get it exactly where I want. So long story short, this is my favorite trimmer. So we'll go ahead and just trim this down. And again, we can keep these pieces if you want to use them in your collages or what have you, like sheep's bit scabious. Kind of sounds like a disease, I'm not gonna lie, but and then there's like Margaret's notes. It's kind of cool, 1985. Anyways, if you want to, you can keep these. It tells you what the flowers are. If you wanted to, say, cut out some of these flowers and, you know, use these as like little information tags. You know, anyways, I digress. So keep going here and we'll cut this one out. And this actually doesn't take very long at all. We will be needing a laminator. If you don't have a laminator, I think you can get the like self-laminating sheets from the dollar store or from like a stationery store. Those work just as well. We're really just trying to, I couldn't choose between the sides of this, so that's why I wanted to laminate to enjoy both sides. Okay, so we've got it cut out. The next step that we want to do is actually to measure this piece, because essentially what we're going to do is we're going to have this piece laminated, and then we're going to almost have like a little booklet underneath that needs to be the same size. So what do we have here? We have 4 1/4 by 5, 5.5, 1 tick down from 6. I don't know, guys. Math is hard, so I don't know what that is. What 5 and I don't know. I just don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so tired. I had my office Christmas party last night and my brain is still tired. I didn't drink very much, but you know, I was out till 11:30 and this girl isn't used to that. I'm used to in my jammies by, you know, 6. Actually, the rule is if I have to wear a bra after 6 p.m., I'm not wearing it before 6 p.m. So I worked from home, so I didn't have to be in my bra all day. You know, these are first world problems, I guess. Okay, so 4 1/2. Or 4 1/4 and 4 1/4 should be 8 1/2. So that much math I know. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down at 8 1/2. We'll cut it at 8 1/2 because we're going to make it like a little card. Sorry if this is super boring, guys. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to show you how I do it. So 8 1/2 is here. Okay, and this is just, I think it's 110 pound cardstock. It's fairly thick. You could just use 60 pound, whatever you have. I just wanted something with a little bit more strength to it. And then we have, so that will give us enough this way, and now we need to cut it down this way. And I think the simplest way for me to do this, because I want to get it bang on, is just to put a little pencil mark right there, and then that'll help me get the exact measurement, which I think it was like 1 tick less than 6, if I'm right. Does that match up? 1 tick less. Oh no, not quite. That's 6 altogether. Okay, well, we'll do it at 6, and if we need to trim it a bit, that's not a problem. Excuse me. So this is our height. Okay, the next thing we want to do is score this. And grab my score board. And we want to score this at 4 1/4 to give us the fold. And what do I have here for a scoring tool? This will work. 4 1/4 is there. Oh my word, and I just buggered it. Don't you hate it when that happens? Come on. There we go. That's okay. It's going to be covered in paper, so... Oh, Lord love a duck. This is not the right scoring tool for this. That's okay. It's going to be covered up. No one's going to see it. There we go. So that folds in half. I can get rid of this for a moment. So this is what we're going to have. This is going to fold this way, and then we're going to have some fun paper here, and then this is going to fold like this. We're going to have some fun paper here, some fun paper here, and then we're going to notch this out. This is going to be a pocket. We're going to glue this on the page so something can tuck underneath. You following me? Okay, so our next step then is we need to laminate this bad boy. So I just have these laminating sheets from Staples. I don't like to waste my laminating sheets, so typically what I'll do is I'll laminate a ton of things at once. So I'll fill this little pouch or this little laminating piece up with a whole bunch of items, or I'll just cut it down and then I'll save this piece. So what I'm going to do is I might as well go ahead and trim up some more of these and laminate them all at once. That way I can make quite a few at the same time, and then maybe I'll list a couple of them on my Etsy if you guys are interested in that. So let me just go off camera for a quick bit. It'll be like a second for you guys that I'll be back, and I'll have these laminated and cut out and ready for our next step. All right, so this is a good place to pause if you want to grab a coffee, a tea, or if you have to use the washer. Okay guys, I actually pop back on because I forgot to tell you a very important step. So when you're laminating these, you want to make sure that you have a space on the left hand side, because we need to create a flap that's going to tuck underneath our card. So I would say leave yourself a good inch on the left hand side so that we can create that flap. So whatever image that you want facing on the outside, that's what we're going to have up, and we're going to have it 1 inch from the edge. You likely don't need the full inch, but just, you know, give yourself enough room. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I mean here. So I'm going to tuck this in, and I'm going to line this up just on my glass mat here, and then I can see where to place this, and you want to make sure that it's straight, or as straight as possible, so that you have that little bit of an edge there to create that fold. So again, same thing on this side, you know, whatever side you want up. Let's actually do this side. So I'll just kind of shift this over, and then I want to make sure that I have at least 1 inch on the left hand side of this one. So let's give it about there, and again we want to make sure that we're kind of square and straight here, so that looks good. So now what I'll do is I will take this, I'm going to fold a piece of paper around it, and then I'll feed it through my laminator. The laminator I have is just a cheap Scotch laminator that I got off of Amazon. Again, you can use just laminating sheets. Remember to give yourself a little bit of space on the edge here. So okay, I'm gonna go now and laminate this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got everything laminated. I've gone ahead and trimmed these ones down. So as you can see, well, hopefully you can, there is about a 1 inch space on the left hand side. That's going to be our little flap where we can fold. I've trimmed it fairly close to the edge of the actual image. The one thing that you want to remember is you don't ever want to cut your laminated images too close to the edge. So leave about 1/8 of an inch around, and then that stops it from, you know, perhaps pulling apart or coming away from your image. Okay, so I've trimmed these ones up. Now I'll go ahead and show you how I do this. So I'm just, again, this is where that wire guide really comes in handy, because I can see exactly where my trimmer is going to cut. And we will go ahead, and you could always do, do this with your scissors, but it's just a little bit nicer. So I keep these, if I don't have little images in there and I run this through my laminator, I do keep these because you can use as like little windows in your ephemera projects, like for specimen pieces or what have you. So definitely don't throw these away. You can reuse them. It keeps them out of the landfill, especially because they're plastic. The other thing I wanted to mention is make sure that you give your laminator lots of time to warm up. I let mine warm up a good 5 minutes. Even after that blue indicator light that comes on, or whatever light comes on that tells you that it's ready, I give it a couple more minutes just to make sure that it's good and hot, so that I get a good seal on my images. Whew. Speaking's hard today. Okay, again, just really quickly trimming these up. You can clean them up with your scissors if you don't get a close enough trim. Again, just remember keeping that in on the side, on the left-hand side. Okay, and then this one we can trim here. And we'll trim the top and bottom. And that top is pretty good. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is prepare our other pieces that are going to go over top of this card itself. So how we're going to do this, let's try, okay, let me use this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put a score line on here so it's a little bit easier to fold. Grab my scoreboard. Okay, we'll get back to these. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. I need my, there we go, little score tool here. And I find that if I take a black pen and I put that into the groove of my scoreboard, it helps me see the lines a bit better and to line them up, because sometimes when they all, I don't know, look the same, it's hard to line it up for me. And it's just a nice visual to see where that score line, again, is going to actually be. And I do that at like a measurement that's quite common. So A2 is quite common for me to use, and sometimes this 4 bar, what's actually right in the center of this, so that's why I drew that line there as well. Okay, so we have that scored, and now we can go ahead and fold it over nicely. Then, if I can find my other scissors, there they are. Then what we want to do is just kind of angle off the corners, and that's just so they don't hang out the bottom, and it's just a little bit nicer. It's like in your envelopes and stuff that you just give a little kind of triangular cut off there. Can you see that? If I hold it over there, can you see how I just kind of angled that in that way? We're going to do the same thing on this side. It doesn't have to be perfect, because this is going to be tucked under the envelope portion, or the pocket portion. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for now, and then we can go to our card. So we have this card. Again, it's the same size as our image, so our image covers it. Another thing I should mention is if you do want these edges inked up on this focal image here, go ahead and do that before you laminate. I'm not going to do it this time, but again, if you wanted to ink that, you'll want to do that before laminating. Kind of important. Should have told you that before. My bad. Okay, doesn't matter. See how that's going to work now? We'll glue that to the back of here. And then it's going to fold open, and then we're going to put some paper here. So let's put this is just some purple cardstock I have from a recollections pack. I did cut it down to be a little bit smaller just so I had that white frame around. Again, you can ink up the edges of this if you want, but I just kind of like that white border on there. I think it gives a bit of interest. You can stamp on here, you can put lace on it, you know, go crazy. You can decorate it as much as you want. And then we're going to fold it open again, and then we're going to have another page of writing spot. So I just have this leftover piece of purple from one of the pages I did. Again, not like a perfect border all the way around. You can tear these and have rough edges, use decal scissors, what have you. I'm just going to go simple on this one. And then for this piece, I do want a pattern piece of paper because this is going to end up being our pocket. So now what I'm going to do, I've got that all lined up. I know what I want. Where did that other piece go? What am I doing? Where am I going with life right now? Oh, it's there. Okay. All right, so let's put these aside just for a hot minute. And what I want is my score tape. I like to use score tape to adhere this down. I'm also going to use a liquid adhesive, but it just, the score tape just works super well for me. So let me grab mine. Okay, so some double-sided score tape. And our base. We don't have to decorate the back because again, this is going to be down on the journal page. So let's turn this bad boy over. Again, this is the front image we want. And I'm going to put some score tape just along here. And then another little piece kind of here. So you guys can see that. All right. Okay. And I'm just going to burnish that down just so it's it's got a good seal. It's adhering properly to the laminate. All right, I also want to use my friend Art Glitter Glue. You can use like 3-in-1, whatever you like. You also don't have to have it this wide either. Again, I just like an inch just because it gives me, you know, good enough of a flap. I'm not, you know, leaving myself too short. So we'll go ahead and pick up the score tape paper. And then we are going to lay our card base on there. So what's going to happen now is that score tape is going to hold this in place enough to let that glue dry underneath. So those two adhesives, if I can speak properly, are really going to work together to give your project security in knowing that it's not going to come apart. So, you know, the score tape holds it in place long enough for the glue to dry, and then the glue is, you know, making a stronger adhesion for the laminate. Does that make sense? Am I just rambling on at this point? That could also be the case. So again, if you wanted this just to be a little booklet that pulls out, you definitely can now cover this with another piece so that you don't see that laminate flap. You can cover the whole thing. Okay? All right, let's get to the next piece here. I use this just to burnish that down. Oh, I just love that. It's so pretty. Okay, so we decided I want this one next, and I am not going to ink this one. Okay, so I'm going to use my glue stick and my art glitter glue. So I want my glue stick because it's not going to, you know, warp the page. I mean, art glitter glue is pretty good. It usually doesn't warp. That's one of the things I like about using art glitter glue. But it just, yeah, I just like using the glue stick because it is also, you know, a bit cheaper than art glitter glue. But I am going to come in with art glitter glue on the edges, so I know nothing is going to lift up. Again, just that added layer of security for my peace of mind. You guys do whatever works for you. You can definitely use your tape runners, what have you, but this is what I like to do. Doesn't mean I'm right. This is just the way I like to do it. Okay. Now, we'll line this up. That looks pretty good. Well, yeah, and that gives me also, using the glue stick gives me a little bit of time to kind of wiggle things into place. Okay. Good enough for the girls, I know. Take your time, as much time as you want to line it up. Get it the way you want it. All right, now we flip over again, and you can also round these corners too if you want. You'll just have to be mindful to round the corners before you laminate and then cut around. Yeah, so I mean, the options are endless really with this. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing. Glue, glue, glue. Glue and glue. Make sure that's picking up nicely. How is it, you guys, that I managed to work myself into like a 12-inch space here? Smaller and smaller work surface area as I go on here. I really need to do a big craft room clean because a bomb has gone off. I've been, again, working on these special orders, and yeah, I'm not sure if that's something I'm going to continue with. I really found, not that I got blocked, but I just felt an immense sense of anxiety working on the special orders because I know the person that this journal is for, and I really want it just to be perfect, to kind of reflect who that person is, or, you know, like, I don't know, it just seems like there's more pressure when you actually know who it's going to, whereas, like, when someone is ordering something, whereas if you just do it and make it, and it's done, and the person is like, oh, I like that, you know, you're not worried about the person liking it because it's done, and, you know, they'll buy it if they like it. If not, well, whatever, right? But when someone is custom ordering, there's just a bit more pressure to it. So I'm just using this mono sand eraser. I just had a little bit of glue there that I didn't like, so I just kind of used that to remove it. Okay, so again, now we have a nice kind of interesting place to write, nice and colorful. And then the next thing we're going to do is put this pattern piece down. Again, you can have this as another piece to write on. Again, if somebody's using like a black pen or black marker, they could totally write on this. That's just tickety-boo fine. And there we have it. I mean, this is really simple. I'm sure you guys could figure out how I did it. I'm not, you know, harboring secrets of ephemera making here. It's just a matter of, you know, knowing how to pull things apart in your mind and figure out how somebody made something, right? Okay. Wonderbar. We're done with that. And get the pin back in our glue because we all know what happens if we don't close our glues up. Okay, and I'll just use this little tool here just to really seal that down. Ta-da! We have our little fun booklet writing space, secret writing space. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our thumb notch. You can use whatever you want. I have used on a few projects my square punch. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my punches here. I mean, I put them in their proper drawers, and it's like I can't remember where they are. I'm always shocking myself when something's put away. Okay, so I got these at the Goodwill store, Value Village, or Value Village as I like to call it, but check out your thrift stores. A lot of people get rid of these. This one in particular, they must have punched something with it and it kind of came out, so they punched something really thick. So all I had to do was take the screws out and kind of put it back together, screw it back together, and it works fine. So the person who had it before obviously didn't know that they could fix it or how to fix it. I don't know. So yeah, I got this super cheap. So you can use a square as a thumb notch. That looks really cool too, you know, something different. I am going to go with this oval. If you have a circle one, that works too, but this is probably one of my favorite thumb punches to use. And yeah, it's a 2-inch, 5.08 centimeters. Oval Recollections brand. Goodwill store. I don't like to really buy too much brand new. I want to go a little bit thicker here. Let's try. Can you guys see that? Let's go about there. Yeah. Ta-da! Done and done. So now we have our little thumb notch. Again, you can ink up the edges if you want. Otherwise, we're pretty much done. All we need to do now is glue it down into our journal. So I have my page already here. Again, not wanting to show too much of the journal right away, but then this is just going to attach onto here. So I'll kind of center it. Okay, so I'm going to, I put my thumb, or hold it on the side that I don't want glue on. That's just kind of like a mental reminder to myself, don't put glue here. It also helps that the thumb notch is there, but you know, if it doesn't have that. Oops. And actually, you know what I'm also going to do? I'm also going to put score tape on the outside here as well. That'll just give it, oh, let's move this out of the way. You know, just that one more added step of security and peace of mind. Okay. And then it will give that extra hold while the glue sets. Okay. And let's go ahead and there's our thumb notch there. We're going to put glue here. I'm going to put glue here. I am now going to find my, let's use our tweezers. Pull that up, and then I'm going to add a bead of glue on the actual score tape itself. And then that should give us enough of a hold. All right, bring this back. Go ahead and line everything up. And Bob's your uncle. We've got it down. Got a little bit of glue squidging. Do I have a dry baby wipe? Probably not. No. Oh, I got some paper towel here. That will do, donkey. That will do. Alright. A little bit of glue squidging out, but that's fine. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I just had that there to mark the page that I wanted to do it on. Look at that. Ta-da! Isn't that cute? Super cute. And then we have our little pocket here that we can put a tag or a journaling card in. So yeah, that is that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these guys off. And I wanted to show you on these ones. I have two that are white. Can you see the color difference there? I'm not sure if you can. So this is some buff cardstock, and then this was white. So I used white on the one that we just did, and I'm going to use white on, is it this one? Which one is it? This one. So I'm going to use white on this one, because when you open it up, it's white on the back of this one as well. And then I decided I was going to use the buff on these ones. Even though it's white on this side, when you open it up, it has that darker color which matches better with the buff. So I'm going to go ahead and get these finished up, and the pieces that I have are like, I have this, and then I have, actually no, this is like the one I did in the Vintage Poppy Journal. Is with these types of paper. So I have this, and then I have this piece. It's going to go here, and then I think I will do coffee dyed paper on this side. Okay, so I will pause really quickly. I'll get these finished up. I'll come back and show you the finished project, and then these ones that I'm making off camera here, I am going to list those on my Etsy. If you're interested, you can head over and check that out. Okay, I'm going to pause and I'll be right back with a finished project. Okay, so I am done. Let's do a quick little peek at these. So this one is white on the front, and then on the inside it has that more kind of coffee or yellowy tone to it. So I matched the paper to the image on this side. You flip it over. This is just, I didn't go with coffee dyed paper. Oh, sorry, my computer's really glitchy. I went with some paper that I got at the Goodwill store. It kind of has some little speckles on it. I'm not sure if you can really see that on video, but it's kind of cool in real life. And then I have this page here. So again, this is going to be on a page as a pocket. So there's that one. This one is, I'll probably call this one May Floral. Or I think I'll actually, you know what I'm going to call these? I'm going to call these Laminated Wildflower Card Pockets. Okay, I'm going to try and remember that. So if you want to look for them on my Etsy, that is what I will call them. I'm just keeping a paper clip on them right now just to keep them closed because they're still fairly new. They kind of want to pop open, but once they're in a journal and secured in there, over time they will flatten out and they'll sit nicely. So, all right, the next one, this is this really cool June, July one. Look at these gorgeous images. Now, there's a little bit of glare from the laminating. I apologize about that. Again, inside is more of that kind of coffee tone or coffee dyed paper look, so I've matched the papers on the inside. Same sort of thing. So these two are similar or identical on the inside. The only difference is these outside laminated pieces. Okay, so there's those ones. This last one I did, so this is one of the white ones, and this one I did a little differently. You open it up and it has the pattern piece on the inside. And then here is the writing, so you can write on the pocket and tuck something in. And then, of course, we had our one that we have in our actual journal. And this one is just got some purple paper on both sides, and then this, and then a little pocket in here. Now, the really cool thing about these, like I said, you can go gangbusters with it. Like, you can totally decorate it up however you want. You don't have to use a laminated piece. You can actually bind papers on the inside if you wanted to do like a pamphlet stitch. Wow, words are hard. Sorry guys. A pamphlet stitch, and then have like coffee dyed papers on the inside. You can add pockets and tuck spots, and you know, it's really endless on what you want to do with this. So this is just kind of, you know, a starter idea. Make it your own. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. That would be super. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos. I thank you all so much for joining me today. We'll see you on the next video. And P.S. I love you.